Good day everyone, and welcome to the demonstration of agility. I will be acting as Josh, a member of the growth team at Specno, who along with his team oversees and manages all projects and consultants. This is a dashboard which shows a detailed consultant allocation table, showing all consultants and how many hours they have planned in each week, and which projects those hours are dedicated to. As you can see, in the week October 27th, Bob has planned 30 hours for the customer portal redesign project and 10 for the online banking system project. This is accompanied by a phase he is currently working in and a description of what he aims to achieve during this phase. I will now show you how a project is created. Josh has just signed a contract with a client and now needs to set up the project. The information has been pre-entered into the form purely for the purpose of the demo to save time. As you can see, the title is e-commerce platform redesign, which starts on the 6th of October and will take 16 weeks to complete, with a budget of 800 hours. The system automatically generates 2-week sprints in the background. Josh, as the growth team, selects Ciaran to be the product manager. He allocates Ciaran 80 hours for the entire project. Along with this, he selects a team of Bob, Carol, Ron, and Alice, and allocates them the following hours. Once this is allocated, there's a budget allocation progress, which shows how many hours have been allocated compared to the total budget. Once the growth team member is happy with this, he can then create the project and is taken to the project page. In the project page, I'll now show you what the product manager does to create phases and allocate consultants to them. As Ciaran, the product manager, I'm going to create a new phase. Once again, the information has been pre-entered for the purpose of the demo. The phase is called Discovery and Design, and I've entered a description of what needs to be achieved in this phase. I then go to select the sprints that the phase will include. From this, the start date and end date of the phase are generated. Moving on to consultant hour allocations. The people I want to allocate are Bob, Ron, and Alice from this drop-down menu here. I can then see their availability over the weeks of this phase, so that as the product manager, I can get a good understanding of how many hours to allocate them. From this consultant workload, I can see that Alice has 120 hours available, and you can see which weeks she has availability. For Bob, who is very busy, I can see that for these 3 weeks, he is fully booked, and I can only allocate him 10 hours because he can only put 10 hours here in this week. So from that, I've decided to only allocate Bob 10 hours, Ron 100 hours, and Alice 80 hours, based on what I can see from their availability. There are then summary cards to summarize the things and create the phase. Once created, it will pop up here. You can see the description over there, and that all phases are pending approval from the growth team. Once the growth team has approved the pending allocations, the allocations reflect on each phase, and now the consultant will be able to plan the allocated hours over the actual weeks of the phase. I am Ron, who is a consultant, and will now demonstrate how I plan the hours that have been allocated for the discovery and design phase in the e-commerce platform redesign project. By clicking on the project, a drop-down reveals the phases, and by clicking on the phases, the drop-down reveals the weeks of this phase. I have again pre-entered these hours for the purpose of the demo. I'll start by describing what I will be doing over the phase or weeks, and then move on to planning. So I entered the description and then move on to planning my hours. In the week October 13th, I've allocated 10 hours. October 20th, 30 hours. October 27th, 20 hours. And finally, November 3rd, 40 hours. I can then see the percentage of the hours I've planned out of the hours I've been allocated at the top, and once satisfied, I need my weekly plan to be approved by the growth team. Once I've requested approval, all my weeks show a pending state, and this will show approved once the growth team has approved them, and once they have approved, they will then reflect as approved hours in the growth team's resource or consultant allocation table. As Josh, who is part of the growth team, I'll now demonstrate how these weekly plans are approved. I'll make use of the filter to only show Ron's request. And now looking through Ron's requests, I can see that each week they do not have any other work. So now that I'm happy that they are fully available, I will do a batch approval to approve all Ron's weekly plans. Great. Once approved, you can now see these hours reflect in the dashboard. As Josh, who is part of the growth team, I'll demonstrate how I deal with approvals. Phase allocations approvals look like this, where I can see who the approval's for, what project it's for, and what phase, and how many weeks the allocation is set to be. I can also see this consultant's schedule over these next few weeks. Based on this, I can make a decision on whether to approve it or reject it based on their schedule. Here I can see they've got fully available weeks for the first 3 weeks of this phase. So I'm happy that they're only requesting 80 hours when they could have requested 120. So I shall approve this request.